Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and I got some meat from the freezer that has to be canned to save it. Now, there are pork chops, and there are boneless, and there's ribs, and all kinds of stuff in here. But some of this will get thrown out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start unwrapping this stuff and putting it in the roasting pan. Here's what I got, and it's all pork. And this bag is going out to the garbage. Now normally, when you're dry canning ground meat, you would cook the ground meat and then can it. But I don't have to thaw this out to grind it. I'm going to cook it first and then grind it, and that will save me a lot of work tomorrow. So I'm just going to put this in the oven at about 300 degrees. I'm going to let it slow roast for several hours. Okay, so I'm going to put my meat grinder together now, and I'm going to use the biggest die cutter I have. Why? Because I'm grinding up pork. And these will be going in things like soups and sauces. So you really want to show, you really want nice sized chunks of meat. If you have a choice, why not make them bigger pieces? At least you know you're getting meat in your sauce. Alrighty. Okay, so here we have, here's our bowl of meat and our meat grinder set up with a bowl to catch. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this tin foil here. And now what fat hasn't been cooked off, I can now trim off. I don't want to cut off all the fat, but we are going for a leaner meat here. Now, do you see what I mean about the bigger pieces of meat? And it takes a little bit more brute force, but wouldn't you rather have that in your spaghetti than something that's so finely ground it's almost mush? So we'll be back when I have ground this bowl. Okay, here is my great big bowl. I had to use a bigger bowl of ground pork in nice size pieces and chunks that will be lovely for ground meat. I have pint jars and half pint jars. Half pint jars because it's pork, and yes, I've gotten rid of a lot of the fat, but we are cutting down on the meat. So we're going to make it go farther. These will be for soups and spaghetti sauces. These will be for like fast shepherd's pies and stuff. All right, here's our lids and our rings washed and sitting in hot water. Here is our canner with a rack in the bottom, 3 liters of water, and a shot of vinegar to keep my jars from clouding. And every once in a while, because I live in the country and have hard water, I soak my weight in vinegar just to make sure that the holes are clear. And I'm going to use that vinegar to clean my rims with, and my clean damp paper towel. So let's get started. Okay, once again, I apologize for the sound of my fans. Okay, so we are going to take this measuring cup and we're just going to drop that down in there, tamp it down, okay, because the pressure is going to push it down, so you don't want to end up with just a half a jar of meat. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a little bit more. See how it's like full? Make sure you have a thick between your counter here, and then just lightly press down the top to a 1/2 inch from the top. Wipe the rim with a clean damp paper towel that's been dipped in vinegar. This will stop any grease from coming up and getting in between the seal and the jar, and into the canner that goes. Here's our canner. I don't know how many half pints I got in the bottom, but I got 7 pints and a half pint in the top and at least 7 half pints in the bottom. Now, you put these lids on fingertip tight, folks, because air has to be pushed out, all right? So don't wrench on the lids. Just make sure that they're as tight as you can get with your fingertips. Now, I'm gonna put the lid on this, and as soon as this begins to spout a steady stream of steam, not puff, 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 a steady hissing stream. Set your timer for 10 minutes and allow the canner to vent. If you don't allow the canner to vent for 10 minutes, you will not get proper pressure in your canner, okay, because we're building a vacuum. So, as soon as this spouts a steady stream of steam for 10 minutes, we'll be back. Okay, our timer went off and I forgot to film me putting the little 10-pound weight on. Be sure and check your manufacturer's directions, because if you live 1,000 feet or more above sea level, your weights and measures and canning times may change. Now, as soon as this gives me my first vigorous jiggle, I'm going to set the timer for an hour and 15 minutes. 75 minutes for pints, 90 minutes for quarts. Half pints canned as pints. There's our vigorous jiggle. Well, it's actually kind of almost a gentle rocking motion. There it is. We're just going to turn this down just a little bit so it doesn't get angry. And we've set the timer now for 75 minutes. Always, 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 do not attempt to open your pressure canner until you can safely touch the sides and put your hands flat on it for 5 to 10 full seconds. Never, ever try to rapid cool your canner. Never try to lift the lid off until it is cooled. Do not jiggle the weight. Do not immerse it in cold water. Part of the canning process is allowing it to cool now. And there we go. 17 meals of dry canned ground cooked pork. That is canning it to save it. This is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead saying, now that it's out of the freezer and out of danger of being ruined, that gives us 17 more meals this winter that I don't have to worry about, especially if the power goes out. Take care, God bless. Yeah, don't look at my hair.